We live from New Delhi, watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Kurana, coming up in the next hour. US judge dismisses 2020 election interference case against Trump. Special counsel drops appeal of dismissal of documents case against the president-elect. US President-elect Donald Trump's statement on sweeping tariffs roll global markets. Dollar surges ahead as China issues a swift warning. Israeli cabinet to meet in Tel Aviv to discuss and vote on a ceasefire deal with Hezbollah. US-led committee to oversee implementation of 60-day truce being proposed. ISKCON seeks India's intervention as Bangladesh arrests its leader Chinmoy Krishna over sedition charges. 75th Constitution Day of India being celebrated. Year-long celebrations to commemorate 75 years of the adoption of Constitution to commence. And the top story this hour, a major legal victory for US President-elect Donald Trump. A judge dismissed the federal criminal case accusing him of conspiring to overturn the results of the 2020 election he lost to Joe Biden. Special counsel Jack Smith requests the dismissal of the case, citing a Justice Department policy that a sitting president cannot be prosecuted. Trump's refusal to concede culminated in the attack on the US Capitol by his supporters on 6th of January 2021. Hailing the dismissal, Trump said that cases against him were empty and lawless and should never have been brought. Well, prosecutors also dropped their appeal of a judge's dismissal of the criminal case accusing him of illegally holding on to classified documents following the end of his first presidency. They cited a Justice Department policy which says that a criminal prosecution of a sitting president would violate the Constitution by undermining the ability of the country's chief executive to function. Prosecutors accused Trump of illegally hoarding classified records at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida and also obstructing federal efforts to get them back. Well, US President-elect Donald Trump shows toughening of his stand against illegal immigration and drug trafficking even before he formally takes charge on January 20th next year. Though he had declared his intentions much during the election campaign itself, his announcement post-election naming countries carries much weight, signaling implementation of his promises. Here's a report by Akhilesh Suman.
US President-elect Donald Trump on Monday pledged big tariffs on the United States' three largest trading partners, Canada, Mexico and China, detailing how he will implement campaign promises that could eventually trigger trade wars. Trump said he would impose 25% tariffs on all imports from Mexico and Canada as one of his first actions upon becoming US president. He said drugs, in particular fentanyl, were pouring into USA mostly through Mexico, and illegal immigrants are crossing to USA through Canada. In addition to this, Trump also said that he will impose 10% tariff on goods being imported from China over the country's alleged lack of action on drug trafficking to the United States. Trump warned that until such time as these things stop, his government would be charging tariffs above any additional tariff on all products from China coming into the United States of America. More than 83% of exports from Mexico went to the US in 2023, and 75% of Canadian exports also go to the neighboring country. Trump's threatened new tariff plan would appear to violate the terms of the US-Mexico-Canada Agreement on Trade. The deal, which Trump himself signed into law, took effect in 2020. And continued the largely duty-free trade between the three countries. A Chinese embassy spokesperson in Washington hit back on Trump's plan, saying no one will win a trade war or a tariff war. Donald Trump has previously pledged to end China's most favored nation trading status and slap tariffs on Chinese imports in excess of 60%, much higher than those imposed during his first term. The Chinese economy is now in a much more vulnerable position given the country's prolonged property downturn, debt risks, and weak domestic demand. Akhilesh Suman's report for DD India.
While fulfilling the U.S. tradition, President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden hosted a Thanksgiving party on Monday. They hosted guests, joined them over dinner, and thanked them for their cooperation during his presidential term. The occasion is also marked with the beginnings of the new harvesting season and other blessings of the past year in USA. As part of a series of such parties on the occasion of Thanksgiving Day, U.S. President Joe Biden organized a Thanksgiving party in White House on Monday. In keeping with the cherished holiday tradition, he pardoned 2 turkeys, Peach and Blossom, in a light-hearted ceremony at the White House. Accompanied by the National Turkey Federation functionaries, Biden joked about Peach's dream of seeing the Northern Lights and the motto he lives by, "Keep calm and gobble on."
I hereby pardon Peach and Blossom. This White House tradition began when turkey was presented to President Truman. The real dream he has is to see the Northern Lights, I'm told. He lives by the motto, "Keep calm and gobble on."
With another group of the celebration in New York, Biden hosted dinner to Coast Guards. While he tasted the food himself, he and the First Lady Jill Biden themselves served delicacies to the attendees. Biden, during the celebration, thanked Coast Guards for their contribution in both securing the nation and helping in the crisis period.
Thank you for all you do and continue to do. Coast Guard motto, always ready. Over last years, those words took on a sense of truth that they hadn't had in a long while. When Iran sent weapons to the Houthis, you teamed up with the Navy and you intercepted them. When the Baltimore Bridge collapsed, I spent a lot of time there, you arrived within minutes to help reopen the port in record time.
And updates from West Asia conflict now. The Israeli cabinet will meet on Tuesday to discuss a ceasefire deal with Hezbollah. The meeting comes after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu gave his in-principle approval to the plan. Netanyahu signaled his potential approval for the emerging ceasefire with Hezbollah during a security consultation with Israeli officials on Sunday night. Netanyahu's spokesperson said the Israeli cabinet will vote on the proposed deal on Tuesday and it is expected to pass. United States envoy Amos Hochstein said in Beirut last week that a ceasefire deal between Israel and Lebanon was within our grasp, but that it was ultimately the decision of the parties. Israel's National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir has expressed a strong opposition to the deal, calling it a big mistake and a historic missed opportunity to eradicate Hezbollah. Well, Benny Gantz, who resigned from Israel's war cabinet in June over Netanyahu's handling of Gaza conflict, called on the Prime Minister to make the details of the ceasefire deal public. And U.S. President Joe Biden and French President Emmanuel Macron are expected to announce a ceasefire between Hezbollah and Israel imminently. Signs of diplomatic breakthrough were accompanied by heavy Israeli airstrikes on Beirut's Hezbollah-controlled southern suburbs as Israel pressed on with the offensive it launched in September after almost a year of cross-border hostilities. White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby said, "We are close, but nothing is done until everything is done."
What I'd say is we have made significant progress with getting towards a resolution. That includes progress from where we were when I spoke to this last week, but we're not done yet. Nothing is final until everything is final. We continue to work to try and get an agreement over the line. and we're hopeful we can get one, but we need both of the parties to get to yes.
Well, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office declined to comment on reports that Israel and Lebanon had agreed to the text of a deal. Israel's ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, said on Monday the talks towards a ceasefire with Hezbollah are moving forward, but insisted that Israel will maintain an ability to strike southern Lebanon in any agreement.
So we are moving forward on this front. As I said many times, our goal was very clear, which is to push Hezbollah north of the Litani River. We haven't finalized it, but we are moving forward. I assume that the cabinet will meet today or tomorrow to discuss it. And I think for us it's important what will happen after, that Hezbollah will not be allowed to come back to the fence, and we will do whatever is necessary to guarantee it. We learned the lessons from 2006.
And in Bangladesh, protests broke out in capital Dhaka hours after the Dhaka Metropolitan Police arrested ISKCON leader Chinmoy Krishna over sedition charges. The protesters had come to the Shahbag neighborhood of the city, demanding release of ISKCON leader in Bangladesh. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness has meanwhile urged the Indian government to take immediate steps, seeking the release of ISKCON leader. Taking to social media platform X, ISKCON said, and I quote, "It is outrageous to make baseless allegations that ISKCON has anything to do with terrorism anywhere in the world. ISKCON Inc. urges the government of India to take immediate steps, speak to the government of Bangladesh and convey that we are a peace-loving Bhakti movement. We want the government of Bangladesh to release Chinmoy Krishna immediately," unquote. And moving on, dozens of people were injured in Pakistan as supporters of former Prime Minister Imran Khan clashed with security forces outside the capital Islamabad on Monday. Authorities have enforced a security lockdown for the last 2 days after former Prime Minister called for a march on Parliament for a sit-in demonstration to demand his release, while highways into the city have been barricaded. At least 119 others were injured and 22 police vehicles were torched in clashes outside Islamabad and elsewhere in the Punjab province. Imran Khan's party said scores of its workers were also hurt. Well, Pakistan's Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi said on Monday security forces showed extreme restraint in confronting the protesters, some of whom he said had fired live rounds, while police only used rubber bullets and fired tear gas canisters. And moving on, Nepal's Ministry of Health and Population has announced an increase in the monetary incentive for families of posthumous organ donors, raising the amount to NPR 200,000 per family. Nepal's Home Minister Pradeep Paudel approved the decision to double the incentive. Additionally, hospitals facilitating organ donations will now receive NPR 75,000 per case, an increase from the earlier 50,000 NPR. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. In Brazil, at least 18 people died and 28 others were rescued after a bus crashed in the northeastern state of Alagoas. Details of the accident were not disclosed, but local media reported that the bus had overturned on a cliff in the region. Residents in the Alagoas state went to the forest to search for victims and rescue survivors of the bus accident. Alagoas Governor Paulo Dantas decreed 3 days of mourning for those who perished. In the Serbian parliament, tensions rose between the ruling coalition and the opposition over a train station roof collapse that killed 15 people earlier this month. The parliament was due to debate the 2025 budget on Monday, but the opposition demanded to have a debate about the disaster. 12 people, including a former minister, were arrested over the disaster last week. The opposition accuses authorities of corruption and demands the resignation of Prime Minister Milos Vučić. As Christmas season approaches and preparations are in full swing in Berlin's City Hall market, apart from festive decorations, market goers can find an ice rink and stalls selling traditional Christmas market food such as roasted almonds or bratwurst. And still to come in DD India News Hour. President Murmu to address Parliament's special session to celebrate 75 years of the adoption of Constitution of India. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar meets his counterparts from several countries in Rome, also speaks on conflicts in West Asia and Ukraine. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lepakshi Kuran, and moving on, India is celebrating its Constitution Day today, a milestone that shaped the democratic framework of the nation. It marks the adoption of the Indian Constitution by the Constituent Assembly in 1949. The day is a tribute to the framers of the document. Constitution Day is also known as Samvidhan Divas. More in this report.
Preamble of the Constitution. We, the people of India, have solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution. 75 years ago, on 26th of November 1949, in the Central Hall of Parliament building, through the members of the Constituent Assembly, we the people of India adopted, enacted and gave to ourselves the constitutions. The Constitution of India is enshrined as the foundation of the world's largest democracy. It is the supreme law within the framework of our democratic system, and it consistently guides us in our endeavors. The Constitution is both the source of our democratic governance system and a guiding force. We the people is an invitation, a pledge, a faith. This sentiment expressed in the Constitution is the original sentiment of India, which has been the mother of democracy in the world. This sentiment is also visible in the Republic of Vaishali and in the hymns of the Vedas. Our democracy resonates in our Constitution. Provisions have also been included to permit necessary amendments that satisfy future generations' needs in our endeavors in ensuring that the Constitution remains relevant over time.
This Constitution is flexible, and the beauty is this in the spirit, in the preamble. This Constitution is our pride, and I can say that this Constitution is the best Constitution. And it has superiority over other constitutions.
We have adopted the best practices from the constitutions of other countries. Moreover, the values of our ancient heritage and the ideals of our struggle for independence can also be seen in our constitution. Our constitution is for the people of India, by the people of India, and of the people of India. It is a national document that also reflects the democratic systems prevalent in our ancient Indian republics and other Buddhist communities.
It's a very wonderful, beautiful provision. If all countries could adopt Article 51C or its spirit and behaved accordingly in their relations with each other, we would have a much better world. Respect for international law, for example. It is the lack of respect for international law that is causing the conflicts and wars that are going on at the moment.
The people of India are worthy of congratulations for the values and respect that the Indian Constitution has earned over the past 75 years. Similarly, the three branches of the central and state governments, namely the legislature, the executive and the judiciary, are deserving of congratulations. Strengthening the relationship and coordination between the union and the states, India's journey towards cooperative federalism is a living example of the dynamism of our constitution. Today, we have a great opportunity to express our gratitude to the architects of our constitution who have provided for peaceful, revolutionary changes through constitutional amendments. It should be hoped that by being vigilant about this constitutional standard and living up to our constitutional ideas, we will succeed in establishing India as the ideal democracy in the world. Bureau Report, DD India.
And India's President Draupadi Murmu will address a special joint sitting of Parliament at the Central Hall of the Old Parliament building on Tuesday to mark 75 years of the Constitution. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar and Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla will attend the celebrations. As part of the celebrations, a commemorative coin and stamp will also be released to mark the 75th anniversary of the adoption of the Indian Constitution. Two books, Making of the Constitution of India, A Glimpse, and Making of the Constitution of India and Its Glorious Journey will also be unveiled. Additionally, a booklet on the art of the Indian Constitution and versions of the Constitution translated into Sanskrit and Maithili will be launched. A short film tracing the Constitution's making, historical importance and evolution will be screened for the attendees. The event holds special significance as it marks the 75th anniversary of the adoption of the Constitution by the Constituent Assembly on November 26, 1949. The Constitution came into effect on January 26, 1950. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has greeted Happy Constitution Day to all the countrymen.
हमारा संविधान हमारी गाइडिंग लाइट है। ये सिर्फ अनेक धाराओं का संग्रह नहीं है। हमारा संविधान सहस्त्रों वर्ष की भारत की महान परंपरा, अखंड धारा, उस धारा की आधुनिक अभिव्यक्ति है। और जब हम इस संवैधानिक व्यवस्था से जनप्रतिनिधि के रूप में ग्राम पंचायत से लेकर के संसद तक जो भी दायित्व निभाते हैं, हमें संविधान के लेटर एंड स्पिरिट को समर्पित भाव से ही हमें अपने आप को हमेशा सज्ज रखना होगा। आज पूरे सामर्थ्य से अपनी सभी विविधताओं पर गर्व करते हुए यह देश आगे बढ़ रहा है और इन सब के पीछे हमारी सबसे बड़ी ताकत हमारा संविधान है। हमारे संविधान के प्रेम्बल की शुरुआत में जो वी द पीपल लिखा, ये सिर्फ 3 शब्द नहीं, वी द पीपल एक आह्वान है, एक प्रतिज्ञा है, एक विश्वास है। संविधान में लिखी ये भावना उस भारत की मूल भावना है जो दुनिया में लोकतंत्र की जननी रहा है।
Well, the Durga Puja Pandal this year commemorated the 75 years of the adoption of the Constitution of India through art. From beautiful paintings, installation, architecture to color palette, every corner of the pandal beautifully highlighted different aspects of the Indian Constitution. Artist Asim Paul, who conceptualized and executed the entire pandal, ensured that even the lighting arrangements and idols were in tune with the theme titled Ujjapan, meaning celebration. The pandal not only grabbed attention for its artwork but intrigued many as it highlighted several lesser known facts about our Constitution. And India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is in Rome, where he met his counterparts from several countries including South Korea, UK, France and Ukraine, and discussed ways to deepen cooperation in multiple sectors as well as regional and international developments. The minister met South Korean counterpart Cho Tae-yul at the G7 Foreign Ministers meeting in Fugi. Jaishankar said he values his conversation with Cho on the global situation. Earlier, he met his Ukrainian counterpart, Andriy Sybiha. Both the leaders exchanged views in advancing bilateral cooperation. EAM also reiterated India's support for dialogue and diplomacy. He also met French Foreign Minister Jean-Noel Barrot, Lebanese Foreign Minister Abdullah Bou Habib, and British counterpart David Lammy. Well, bilaterals took place alongside the MED Mediterranean Dialogues Conference, where External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar made his opening remarks. He said that the new elements of the relationship between India and the Mediterranean would be connectivity. He also emphasized that the India-Middle East-Europe economic corridor can be a game changer.
But Germany also funding various technologies for agroeconomics as well, and the entire relationship has been spread out. What more are we expecting from the discussions today, and where is this cooperation going now?
So I'm very much looking forward for tonight's event. It's basically the last event where we celebrate 50 years of Indo-German science cooperation. It's an event that, will hopefully have a lively discussion on how science and politics can go together. We have seen COP, Baku COP has ended with the document where most of the countries, India above all, expressed their dissatisfaction. But I think we have to sit down now and to try to make understood, to make the people understand, how scientific results can be very important to influence political opinion.
The Indian representatives had said that this is optical illusion, and there will be more that needs to be done, especially taking in the priorities of the developing nations who are particularly on the brink of collapse when it comes to climate issues surrounding them. Your country has already invested about $1 billion, if I'm not wrong, in renewable energy and other projects when it comes to technology and climate change as well. What more are we expecting moving forward, and would that be enough?
So I think the COP negotiations were mainly about the finance question, how much money will flow in order to finance projects in the framework of climate change and climate action. And I know that India and other countries were a little disappointed by the amount of money. We have tripled the amount of money from 100 million to 300 billion. But India said it should be, 3 to 4 times that much. The question is, how do we get, and from where do we get money on the street? Yeah? So to help India and other countries to, India, other and even more concerned countries like the small island states, to invest in projects.
Well, the 17th edition of the Convention on Pharmaceutical Ingredients and PMEC India Expo is set to kickstart today. Renowned as a comprehensive one-stop destination for innovative, cost-effective solutions, the Expo will also showcase the pharmaceutical industry's modernization, innovation and sustainability. Let's know more about it.
2020 brought the world to a standstill, but it also tested India's resilience. In the face of uncertainty, our pharmaceutical industry rose to the challenge. From manufacturing critical medicines to developing vaccines like Covaxin and Covishield, India became the pharmacy of the world. Over 220 crore vaccine doses were administered domestically, while more than 100 countries received Indian-made vaccines under Vaccine Metri. Our pharmaceutical exports crossed $25 billion in 2023, cementing India's position as the world's largest generic medicine supplier. With a growing domestic market valued at 3.2 lakh crore rupees, the government's focus on research and innovation has been unwavering. Under the 2024-25 budget, 7,500 crore rupees has been allocated to promote pharma research and manufacturing under Make in India. From combating COVID to revolutionizing global healthcare, India's pharma sector has grown multifold, touching lives worldwide and driving the economy forward. And now, the 17th edition of the CPHI and PMEC India Expo is set to showcase this remarkable journey. Starting today, it will bring together industry leaders, innovators, and global stakeholders to explore new horizons in pharmaceuticals. Join us at the India Expo Center, Greater Noida, and be part of this transformative journey. The future of pharma begins here.
And still to come on DD India News Hour. India marks the 16th anniversary of 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks. On World Sustainable Transport Day, our special report on Delhi Metro, one of India's biggest success stories. And we'll show you all the buzz at the 55th edition of IFFI as it is hosting back-to-back masterclasses for young and creative minds.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. And moving on, India observes the 16th anniversary of the horrific 26/11 terror attack in Mumbai, which took place in 2008. As many as 166 people lost their lives and over 300 were injured after 10 terrorists from Pakistan launched simultaneous attacks in several parts of the Maharashtra city. The heroics of the Indian Army and Mumbai police led to all the Pakistani terrorists being eliminated.
26th of November, a day that shook India but also ignited a fire of resilience and resolve. India promised to never let history repeat itself. From the surgical strikes in Pakistan, occupied Kashmir and Balakot to counter-insurgency operations on the Myanmar border, India's message was clear. We defend with precision and strike with conviction. To secure our borders and our people, the 2024-25 defence budget stands at 6.22 lakh crore, the highest among all ministries. This includes 1,72,000 crore rupees for capital acquisition and 92,088 crore rupees for operational readiness. Atmanirbhar Bharat, India has become a global leader in defence manufacturing. BrahMos missiles and HAL Tejas fighter jets to INS Vikrant and bulletproof jackets, we are creating for the world and securing ourselves. Our future is in cutting-edge technology, AI-driven defence systems, hypersonic missiles, and state-of-the-art drones. India is not just defending its borders, but reshaping global security standards. From November 26th to today, India stands tall, strong, secure, and self-reliant. This is the story of a nation that never backs down.
And on the anniversary of cowardly terror attacks in Mumbai, President Draupadi Murmu paid homage to the brave hearts who lost their lives and expressed solidarity with their families. In a tweet, she said, "A grateful nation salutes its valiant security personnel who made ultimate sacrifice while protecting our people." It is also the day to reiterate that India remains firmly committed to defeating terrorism in all its forms. Also, Maharashtra Governor C.P. Radhakrishna paid floral tributes to the brave hearts at Martyrs Memorial on the premises of the Police Commissioner's office on the 16th anniversary of the 26/11 Mumbai terror attack. Maharashtra's Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, along with Deputy Chief Ministers Devendra Fadnavis and Ajit Pawar, also paid floral tributes to the brave hearts. And World Sustainable Transport Day, celebrated on 26 November, is a special occasion to reflect and make transport safer, more efficient and more sustainable and greener. On this day, we'll talk about Delhi Metro, one of India's biggest success stories. How it brought about a paradigm shift in urban transportation by providing a safe, efficient and comfortable mode of travel for millions of commuters in Delhi and its surrounding areas. DD India's Abhishek Mahajan reports for more.
Delhi Metro, one of the biggest success stories of India. The journey started in 2002 under the leadership of the Metro Man of India, E. Sridharan. Inaugurated by then Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, first train started on the 8.4-kilometer long corridor between Shardra and Tis Hazari stations on the Red Line. 2 decades later, the rapid transit system spans nearly 393 kilometers, encompassing 288 stations across 12 corridors in the Delhi National Capital Region. An additional 65 kilometers of new lines are under construction, which will take the network length beyond 400 kilometers. The Delhi Metro facilitates over 7 million passenger journeys each day, making it one of the largest mass transit systems globally. Talking about the impact, the metro has helped to reduce the number of cars on the road, which has resulted in less traffic congestion and shorter travel times. It has also contributed to reduce the amount of air pollution in the city, as it runs on electricity, which is a clean energy source. It has also had a positive impact on the city's economy, creating jobs both during its construction and operation. Not only this, it has helped to increase the value of real estate in the areas around the metro stations. A marvel in the field of transportation, the state-of-the-art infrastructure project that has not only benefited the city of Delhi but also set an example for other cities in India and around the world. Having made a success of a mass transit project in a sprawling and populous city, Delhi Metro is well placed to guide others, and it has made it the global presence too. DMRC's first overseas advisory contract came in 2012 when it was awarded the management consulting services for the first phase of the Jakarta Mass Rapid Transit System in Indonesia, covering 15.7 kilometers. Heading north along the Mediterranean coast, the Delhi Metro is also involved in the Tel Aviv Metro project in Israel. In addition, 3 more metro networks, Alexandria in Egypt, Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam and Mauritius, are also on its radar. Closer to its home base, the Delhi Metro Rail is contributing its expertise to the Dhaka Metro project, serving as a general consultant for 3 lines in collaboration with Nippon Koi and Mott MacDonald companies. Truly a game changer for public transport in the country. Abhishek Mahajan's report, DD India.
Well, award-winning film American Warriors had its Asian premiere at the 55th edition of IFFI. The film has already created a new benchmark, having Indian, American and Latin American actors as its star cast. My colleague Deepika Mehato spoke with the film cast. Listen in.
We have with us the entire star cast, the producers of the film American Warriors. Interestingly, American Warriors happens to be a multi-award winner film, and they are here in India for their Asia release. First of all, many congratulations to all of you. Coming to you, Ms. Shah, when we talk about this production, sports and cinema coming together, a topic like combat sport where you are talking about MMA, and that too coming from a woman. I can see 3 women here, which means depicts the women power here in cinema. What is your view on this production and the kind of reception it is receiving globally?
We shot for 19 days. To make this film in 19 days itself, we should be given an award for that. In the little money that we have made this film, we should be given an award for that. We also flip 3 roles, typically male roles: gym owner, a fight doctor, and a fight judge, a ring judge. All 3 into female roles. I think we managed to balance, how imperfections in life still can be celebrated.
So there are 3 most important things here when we talk about this movie. First, MME. Second, women. And third, catering to the Indian audience, the Asian audience specifically. How was the entire thing that came to you, and what was your first reaction when you received it?
Well, I was so excited to be able to blend the 2 worlds. That was really a challenge for Vichy and I. We wanted to introduce America to Indian culture. That was one of the main missions of the revisions of the film as it went along. We show in this the Diwali holiday, which I personally find to be my favorite of the Indian culture. And it's so beautiful, and it fit perfectly with the story of redemption from darkness into light. So I really saw the characters as the light.
When we talk about enlightenment, you spoke about yoga and spirituality as well. And coming from India, you know the importance of it. But, taking that to America and sending this message through the platform and ramparts of America, how was the entire experience and thought behind the entire process for you?
Who you are, as if you're authentic and if you're an authentically spiritual person, it comes across, whether when you write books or whether in movies or when you speak. This movie is just one of the mediums. And this is an inspirational movie of redemption. Like I said, everybody goes through failures and challenges. How do you bounce back from those?
Now, breaking the barriers and going beyond the boundaries is also one of the 2 beauties of this film. How has your experience been here in India?
I fell in love with India. I arrived in Delhi, and I'm like, this is the best place I've ever been to, and it's Delhi. I connected with the people. I had the most beautiful day, and when I went home that night, I was jet lagged, but I was smiling so hard from all the joy that I experienced that day that my face was hurting. Beautiful people, vibrant culture.
So there you had the entire star cast and the producers of the movie American Warriors. They talk about their love for Indian cinema, their love for India particularly, and how excited they are with the launch of their Asian release of American Warriors. With camera person Ajit, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from Goa.
Well, as the 13th plenary meeting of Regional Committee of UN Global Geospatial Information Management Asia and Pacific, hosted by Survey of India, is being held at the Bharat Mandapam IECC on 26th to 29th of November 2024 in New Delhi, India. Here is a look at how the geospatial technology being used in various sectors in India.
Geospatial technology, a technology that is becoming increasingly crucial in various sectors in the country like urban planning, defense, environmental management, administration, infrastructure and transportation. But what is geospatial technology? It is a term used to describe the range of modern tools contributing to geographic mapping and analysis of the Earth and humans. It is an emerging field of study that consists of 3 major disciplines: Geographic Information Systems, GIS, Remote Sensing, RS, and Global Positioning System, GPS. So where is India using geospatial technology? Keeping an eye on India's international borders, planning smart cities of the future, delivery of key life-saving vaccines, monitoring assets and projects, and even disaster mitigation, geospatial applications are driving modern India's socio-economic growth. Many private sectors are using drones and geographic information systems to carry out surveys for infrastructure projects like railways, highways, and city planning, whereas the Rural Development Ministry is using it to run social projects like Manrega and management and development of rural assets. And this is being done by using real-time monitoring through geotagging. India's total domestic geospatial market is set to reach rupees 1 lakh crore by 2030, according to Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. Also, more than 1 lakh jobs will be available in both government and private sectors in the Indian domestic geospatial market by 2030. Geospatial technology has a wide range of applications in India. This includes defense and intelligence. The government has increased its focus on self-reliance in geospatial data, transport infrastructure, Geospatial technology can optimize route planning, fleet management, and supply chain operations. Urban development. The technology can be used to plan and develop cities. Land record administration. The technology can digitize and categorize landholding data. Emergency response. The technology can support logistics and tech support during emergencies. Research and innovation. The technology can be used in research and innovation in fields like urban planning, environmental science, and social sciences. Tourism and hospitality. The tech can be used to promote tourism by providing interactive maps and location-based services. National Geospatial Policy. In December 2022, India unveiled a landmark initiative, the National Geospatial Policy. It is an incentive for innovation, industry, and infrastructure in relevant sectors.
And still to come on DD India News Now. We'll tell you all about the stock markets as Wall Street closes higher and Asian stocks slip after Trump's new tariff threats. And in sports, India's Gukesh to face reigning champion Ding Liren in the second round of FIDE World Chess Championship 2024. And India observes National Milk Day on the birth anniversary of Dr. Varghese Kurian, the father of white revolution in India. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Now. Lepakshi Kuranan on to some business news now. Wall Street's main indexes ended higher on Monday after Scott Bessent's nomination as U.S. Treasury Secretary helped push bond yields lower. Trump choice announced late on Friday, making investment strategists say that Bessent could take measures to restrain further government borrowing, even as he follows through on fiscal and trade campaign pledges. Focus also turned to talks of a ceasefire deal between Israel and Lebanon, which pushed oil prices lower, dragging the energy index lower. In all, the S&P 500 gained 0.30%, the Nasdaq Composite gained 0.27%, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.99%. And in the Asia-Pacific region, stocks tumbled in early trade after U.S. President-elect Donald Trump vowed to impose fresh tariffs on China and U.S. border countries, Mexico and Canada. Equity benchmarks in Japan and South Korea led the decline during the session's opening. The Nikkei was 0.86% lower, while the S&P ASX 200 was down by 0.34%. Trump, in a social media post, said he would impose an additional 10% tariff on goods from China and 25% on all products from Mexico and Canada. According to him, this measure was to cut down migrants and illegal drugs flowing across U.S. borders. Well, you're watching DD India News. Our time now for some sports news. Chess Grandmaster Gukesh will face reigning champion Ding Liren in the second round of the FIDE World Chess Championship 2024 in Singapore on Tuesday. Gukesh lost to China's Ding Liren in the first round of the championship on Monday. Gukesh, who had white in the first round, squandered time advantage to eventually lose the first round. The youngster World Championship challenger Gukesh will have the dark pieces in the second round today. And updates from the second day of IPL play auctions. 13-year-old cricket prodigy Vaibhav Suryavanshi from Bihar has taken the cricketing world by storm after becoming the youngest player to be picked in the history of IPL auction. Suryavanshi was sold for a whopping 1.10 crore rupees to Rajasthan Royals. Other than him, many other Indian cricketers shown on the first day of the IPL auctions which took place at Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Indian medium-pace bowler Bhuvneshwar Kumar became the most expensive signing on day 2 after being signed by the Royal Challengers Bengaluru for 10.75 crore rupees. Bhuvneshwar is the second highest wicket-taker in IPL history among fast bowlers with 181 scalps and 176 appearances. Mumbai Indians then roped in the services of Deepak Chahar after a bidding war with Punjab Kings and Chennai Super Kings. Akashdeep, Mukesh Kumar and Marco Jansen round off the top 5 buys of the day. And every year since 2001, June 1st is observed as World Milk Day by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations to acknowledge the importance of milk as a global food and to celebrate the dairy sector. Well, in India, the birth anniversary of Dr. Varghese Kurian on November 26th is observed as the National Milk Day, who's popularly known as the father of White Revolution in India. Here's more.
November 26th is celebrated as the National Milk Day to commemorate the birth anniversary of Dr. Kurian, who is known as the father of White Revolution in India. According to official data, India ranks first in global milk production. And milk production is growing at the compound annual growth rate of about 6% over the past 9 years, from 146.31 million tons during 2014-15 to 230.58 million tons during 2022-23. Dr. Kurian was born on November 26, 1921 in Calicut, which is now Kozhikode in the southern state of Kerala. Looking at the struggle of milk farmers in Anand, he along with others started the milk cooperative movement in the region, which was registered under the name of Kaira District Cooperative Milk Producers Union Limited, which was later renamed to now popular Amul. He worked towards bringing a white revolution in India and executed the much-needed program of Operation Flood. Under his leadership, many important institutions were established: the Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation Limited and the National Dairy Development Board. Dr. Kurian was the first chairman of NDDB. He worked on the Anand pattern cooperatives in milk sheds across the country, from where liquid milk produced and procured by milk cooperatives would be transported to cities. Dairy is the largest agricultural commodity that contributes to 5% of the national economy. And when we talk about dairy production in India, milk production in India, India contributes to about 25% of the global milk production. That makes India the biggest milk producer in the world. Further, to encourage farmers to take up productivity enhancement of indigenous breeds of milk animals in a scientific manner and to motivate cooperative and milk producer companies, the Government of India is conferring the prestigious National Gopal Ratna Awards on the occasion of National Milk Day. Meghna Dev's report, DD India.
All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. And let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. Well, we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.